It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar. He's been here before. He is the proud principal of Evergreen Park Community High School. Matt Dugan, how are you?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, very, very proud principal of Evergreen Park High School.
If this makes it onto the YouTube channel, there is a glow behind him. And I can only describe it as the Pope is a White Sox fan now. And I just before you came here recorded an episode of Sox in the Basement where I referred to them as God's team at least 25 times on that White Sox podcast that I do. And ever since then, there has been a beam of light just shining into the basement here where we do the podcast. And I think it's a sign I'm onto something.
They need all the help they can get.
Right, but you're glowing now.
I'm glowing now. I'm going to say this now. WGN was my babysitter growing up, right? I'd come home and it was the Cubs, so I don't want to get yelled at from the south side.
It's okay.
Okay, but
it's okay.
They just had the advantage on WGN during the day.
They have an advantage now. They got a big one now. They got a big one now.
So the White Sox need the Pope to turn this record around.
They need everything they can get. You. I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but I guess it's the only way I can say it. Don't need a lot of help. It sounds like things are going really well over at the high school. I remember when you took this job, like I was like, okay, well, good luck, and you know, it's a big deal. It's a big school with a lot of new things, and the kids coming in from the village, and you get people that are from all different walks of life. And wow, this is going to be interesting. And it sounds to me like everything's going really well.
It's fantastic, and thank you. Couldn't be going better. And I think after we're just about done here with year 2. I've said to every parent and every staff member I met, I said, I'm going to stay here until I retire. So I got another 20 years.
There you go.
But just loving it. And I mentioned to you before we got on the show, we went an entire school year without even having a fight.
That's amazing to me. I was waiting to bring it up myself, but I'm glad you led with that. This is a high school. How many kids you got in high school?
920-ish.
920 kids between the ages of essentially 14 to 18 years old going through some of the most confusing times in their life.
Yeah.
And walking through hallways where somebody could be having a bad day and bump into everybody. That is astounding to me. No fights. And you were telling me no fights in the school, no fights outside the school, no fights with somebody on the way to school. Yeah. No fights in Evergreen Park Community High School for an entire school. You only have a week left.
I don't think I've ever had
I'm really
this before.
nervous that like a brawl breaks out.
I know, but I think again, I've said it enough and people are yelling at me saying, hey, you're going to jinx it. And I just said again to our students, I've acknowledged this to them and championed them and just said like how incredible it was to go through an entire school year. Yes, while going through your teenage developing years and all the drama that goes on social media and all the other things, I'm very, very proud of our students and also our support team, our 3 counselors, Tom, Veronica, and Eileen, our social workers, Jessica and Tom, and then Mr. McCarthy, our assistant principal who oversees our dean's office of Darian, Sarah, and Matt. They have all done an amazing job working with students when there is drama that arises, right? So let's not pretend that like there isn't boyfriend-girlfriend drama or drama behind the scenes with sports and clubs, but they've just done an incredible job working with students doing mediations, and the students themselves have done an incredible job, and the parents who've bought in and worked with us and helped us with their child and prevented those things from happening because you never want to see those things happen. You're aware that they do happen. So it's a pretty incredible school year. And
I mean, it's
very, very proud of them. Very proud of them.
It's astounding to me because, I mean, I went to school in the 90s and I went to Brother Rice. So it was all boys, right? Yeah. I had at least 2 fights that I was in the school.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a fighter. I'm like 5'10" and I wear glasses. Are you kidding me? Like I'm not looking to brawl. Yeah. Like I'm not. They were both self-defense moments for me where it was like, oh, I'm gonna get my butt kicked if I don't start swinging back. Like, I mean, so to me, I'm astounded by an entire school with just under 1,000 kids and you're able to keep the peace. How do you do that? Is it your dean system? Is it security guards? Did you have drones flying through the building? Like, what are you doing?
It's a combination of everyone. I think it, again, is a combination of the students working with us and buying into what we're asking them to do, which is come talk to us before anything happens. And they're saying like, hey, I got some conflicts with someone. Can we talk? Can we sit down and talk? And truly, I think the kids having gone to school with each other since typically 6th grade has also helped, right? They know each other. They're friends with each other. They might not always be best friends with each other, but they do want to get along and they want the school to be a better place. So since I've gotten there, the students have continuously made ways to improve the school. And that's something I've always said. I think I said it on day 1, like listening to the students and having them make the school a better place in their vision. And they've done that with simple things such as senior sunrise, or next week we have senior sunset, where they get to go out and watch movies and have fun and eat food, to other things where they make recommendations about the food, the line, the service, all those things. The students are leading the change for our school, and I just get to help facilitate that process, which is pretty great.
That's awesome. And you know what? At that age, they want to feel that way. They want to feel like they have some kind of control. I mean, I've got 2 teenagers, and that's a thing where, like, if you kind of tell them, like, oh, you get to make choices, or like, I get to be an adult, like, that makes them excited.
It's their school, it's their town, it's their community. So again, I want them to have ownership in that. And they've done just an amazing job making our school a better place. And I can't thank them enough for everything they're doing.
That's awesome. All right. So year in review. I mean, we're sitting here in May. I mean, it sounds like it was a good year because you didn't have any fights, but you had to have a lot of other things that happened this year that stand out to you. Like what are the things that stand out the most to you over this school year?
Again, I think it's just another successful school year athletically in the fall and the winter and the spring. Baseball and softball are doing well right now. Our girls soccer team is killing it. Track is doing well, boys and girls track. Activities wise, Ken Kazin just finished his career. He had his last concert this week. 38 years, just done an amazing job for everything. Can't thank him enough for everything he's done for our school.
Interesting guy. He was down here a month or so ago.
Can't thank him enough for everything he's done for the school and the community. So pretty cool part was 38 years ago when he first started, there was a piece commissioned for Central 124. And it was the last time a musical piece was commissioned for Evergreen Park, one of the schools. And in his last year, Willie Owens, one of his friends from college, who is now a composer that puts music together, composed a piece for Ken's last concert. So the first time it was ever played publicly was actually at his last concert. The title of the piece is Evergreen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fittingly. So just a wonderful piece of music and a really nice send-off for Ken and those senior students that had dedicated 4 years of their time to the choir and to the band. Ken didn't want to steal the spotlight, so of course he gave the kids a shout-out because that's who he is. But after 38 years, to see his love and passion for what he does, our students and music, and still to teach, Ken's irreplaceable. And we have a wonderful band director coming in, Colin Curlatolo, who's going to do a great job. I think he's excited and itching to get going here. But I just, again, Ken, everything he's done for our school and the community over the last 38 years, I can't thank him enough for everything he's done. That's
an interesting thing. You have a guy who was an institution over there. He leaves, and you have to figure out who's coming in next.
Yeah.
And is that one of the more difficult things for you to do, is trying to staff the school? Because to get a school that's working as smoothly as you described here at the start of the interview, you got to have a lot of the right people in place.
Yeah.
So, like, is that something that you have found now in your first 2 years over there as principal, is like almost like a linchpin, the selecting of the right person to come in and either take over the band or like a math classroom? Is that a big deal?
Well, I think the hirings of staff is probably the most important job that a principal has, other than the safety of the students. You have the safety of the students.
Not standing out front having a drink of coffee.
No, it is. I mean, you're hiring people that you want to be there for the next 25, 30 years. They're going to make the school a better place for the students in the community, and so you're hiring someone. And so when you're replacing a band director that's been there for 38 years. That's not all right, we're going to hire just a teacher. You're hiring someone that is a foundation in the community, like Ken has been. We have great confidence. Colin will be that guy. He's excited to get going. He came with great recommendations. And something that I've brought since I got to Evergreen Park was that students participate in the interviews. So we actually have students sit in on teacher interviews to be a part of our process, and we deliberate with them, and they get to be involved in that process. And it's something we're very proud of, that we have students that get to partake in that. And it's all of our future education students. So we have educational internship students. They're typically always seniors, but they go off to Northeast, Southeast, Northwest, Southwest, and they get to typically teach like in kindergarten classes or first grade classes. We have a student that goes over to Central, and they're aspiring teachers, but they partake in our interviews and they get to see this process and they get to work with us in hiring of staff.
That's awesome. So, good year. You got to turn right around and get into the next one, right? I mean, like, do you get a break? Do you get a break? When they leave, what are you doing? You run into a beach, or do you go right to work?
My kids are a little bit young, so I like staying at work. You're planning for next year.
That's the best light ever.
It is.
My kids are young, so I'm just going to work.
Vacation's a little bit harder than work right now.
We don't need to go on vacations.
Vacation's a little bit harder than work. My wife's very understanding. I think we both agree that vacations right now are a little difficult with the little ones, but. We do a lot of work over the summer. You're planning for the next year. You're actually planning for almost 2 years out over the summer. And then you're finalizing things and you're getting the professional developments planned. You're getting your institute days planned for the school year. Those are the things you're doing over the summer to prepare for next year, as well as any sort of helping out in any other area, registration. So there's a lot of work that gets done over the summer, and it sounds weird because it's like, oh, there's no kids, but that's when a lot of the work gets done, because you're not working with student issues, you're working with building a facility and then planning for the future issues. So you're getting a lot of that stuff done. And then, like sometimes hirings come up late, people get other job opportunities. And so then you have to do some hirings over the summer. We actually recently just hired our basketball coach. Our new basketball coach just got hired. So we're looking forward to seeing what Mike will do. Mike Lennon will do for our school and our community. And we're excited to see him take our basketball program to the next level.
Yeah, how much does that matter to a school? I've always been curious about that. You got your two big sports, your football and your basketball. Those are the ones that'll end up in the paper.
Yeah.
Like if you do well, you actually get good press.
Yeah.
You do well, you get a buzz. You do well, it might actually help with the amount of kids that are on the fence. Do I want to go to my local public high school or go someplace else? May gravitate towards the high school. So is that still a really important thing to be good, especially in the major sports?
I think we want to be good in everything, right? That's the goal. I think it's you want to be good in your major sports, but you want to be good, like I said, in band, music, theater. Because really the goal of the school is to put the students in position to be successful in whatever they want to be in for the next steps of their life. So it would be a disservice to any student to just say, oh, okay, we have an average whatever teacher or club sponsor. Like that's not acceptable. It really is. We want our students to have an outstanding experience. We want exceptional people in every position. So really, again, every position we hire is important. But when you have those people that are foundations in the community, you really got to hit home runs.
When you first sat down with me a couple years ago, one of the things you told me was that the goal that you had was that you want your students to go through 4 years there, and then you want them to be able to go on to do what they want to do, either be able to go into the profession they want to go to if it's a trade, or they're able to go to college, and if they're going to college, to be able to get as much money as possible so they could afford it. And I thought that was just a striking comment. Like your goal was not, hey, I just want them to go through 4 years and I want things to run smoothly here so I can keep this job. Your goal was like, how do I get all these kids to where they want to go and get them the money to be able to fund what they want to go and do? Because if they're excelling in school and we're giving them the right support and we're finding the scholarships and we're finding the grant money, then we can get them ahead even further. It's not about graduating. It's about going on to that next level. 2 years in, how are you doing with that?
I think we're actually doing better than I anticipated. We've increased the number of advanced placement classes from last year to this year and even into next year. We're increasing our trades offerings. So we currently have welding and woodshop. Next year, we're going to have HVAC. We have our construction internships. We have students on job sites now, interning with companies, getting that field experience before they go off after high school to see, hey, is this something I want to do? We're going to be working hopefully with the Evergreen Park Fire Department for a fire department internship. So our students will be almost like the cadet program, bringing it back while getting EMT certified through Moraine Valley. So again, everything is going 100% in the right direction as far as the things we want to do. And we have advanced placement testing this week. So we're going to see some 3, 4s, and 5s. And hopefully those students, get all that college credit. So they're going into college as sophomores or with less college expenses without even having a scholarship. And then we've increased the scholarship offerings. So again, it's just a full effort push to help all of our students in the next step, whatever they may be.
Yeah, one of the things I'm going to tell you, those AP classes, I got a kid right now that is about to finish her first year down at the University of Illinois. And she was sitting there talking about, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm thinking about doing that. And I'm like, aren't you almost a junior because of all the AP classes? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an advantage to them. They get there and it's such an advantage if they have those credit hours. I'm like, you don't need to kill yourself because you're ahead of the game right now.
You have those credit hours and then you're also preparing. And it's one of those things I talk to a student, and if they don't get a 3, 4, or 5, you don't get the credit, right? If you get a 2, you're not getting credit. 1. And we had a student that was disappointed. I said, listen, you just took an advanced placement class. You got to be in the class and you got a 2 on the test. I said, that prepared you better for college than anything else. I said, so you didn't get the credit, but I said, you still get the GPA boost because you took an advanced placement class and got a B, which is really an A.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to be better prepared for this. I said, so don't beat yourself up. And now you know what to look for when you get off to college. And so really that's kind of the conversation piece for when, you don't get a 3, 4, or 5. And it's not always 100%. unless you're in Mr. Trufa's class where you're getting 100% pass rate because he's that good at everything he does. But it's just pretty incredible to see our students challenge themselves. And I think that's something we also have is we want students to challenge themselves. And so they oftentimes, working with their families and our counselors, say, hey, I want to take an advanced placement class. This is the first time I'm going to try one. And our counselors are saying, yeah, this is what you got to do. Talk to the parents and make sure they're aware of the work. There's a lot of work that goes into those classes, but a lot of students stepping up and trying and challenging themselves for the first time, which is pretty great to see.
All right, Matt Dugan, he's the principal of Evergreen Park Community High School. He's killing it over there. He's been doing a really good job for the last couple of years. Hopefully he didn't jinx himself. Played mellow music over the intercom for the last week or two here.
Get through it. We got this.
I don't want to air this episode and then hear of something.
I might call you and tell you to edit it out,
okay? Matt Dugan, thanks so much.
Thank you again.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.